October 12th, and I'm back out here working. And as you just saw, I put in the new longer stabilizers that I didn't know existed. So I just bought the first set I saw, and 3 years ago or whatever. And they were always too short. We didn't use them much. But these are perfect. They go down to about 1 inch from the ground, and then they extend further than that. And with the new tongue jack up front, I can drop these, raise the tongue a little, and it's still pretty level, but it's super stable, which is something that's always been sketchy for us. The stability of the trailer. We used to actually unload everything out of the truck, rehook it back to the truck because it was just sketchy. Like if we got to the back, we were worried about it doing a wheelie. Before we moved the axle, it would wheelie if I got to the back, and we learned that the hard way. So moving the axle back, adding these stabilizers, adding the tongue jack has solved all of that. So what am I going to do next? I'm just going to go through all of the suspension work we did last year when we swapped the axle, new leaf springs, got away from the slipper spring, got away from the Chinese bearings. I just took off the right rear tire, and those bearings are still zero play, but super free. So I'm really happy about that. Here's a couple pictures of the suspension that's still nice and straight. All the nuts and bolts are still on there after towing this thing around only once last year. So what I'm going to do now in preparation to using it more is I'm going to finally go through and clean up all this raw metal that we used to basically, this bracket is just bolted to the frame with the suspension welded to it. So I could effectively just remove these 4 bolts and drop the whole suspension. I've left it like that, and I wonder if it would be advantageous to leave it like that. But something inside me just wants to do some beads on the front, the back, and a couple in the middle. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to just clean up all this metal with a disc. And then I'm going to shoot it all. I'm going to do the frame again in red all the way up to the front of the tongue. And then I'm going to do everything below the frame in a gray, just to protect the metal from, see, it's already rusting. So just want to sando out the bottom of this thing. So here we go.
Underneath the sharks, like oh, what I'm the best trainer ever. Check out all these
Alright, so you just saw me spend the day taking these wheels off and masking off and repainting the frame. Due to all the modifications, there was just trashiness everywhere. First was this angle iron that I used to mount the suspension to, and see, I painted that into the red so it just kind of flows now. I also painted all the suspension under there just to, you know, keep down on the rust. And then I went ahead and painted this whole new front tongue that I had built for this thing. And got a little bit of touch up left to do on that, but I'm calling it a day right now. Alright, so you saw I had that little weenie spare before, and my dog actually tore the cover off and he bit it in the sidewall shoulder area and flattened that tire. So he's over that now. He's 2.5 and he's no longer eating everything that smells like me. So I decided to go ahead and put a full-size spare on here, because really, if I put that little weenie spare, this thing's weighing some weight now. It's probably up in the 1,500 pound range. I don't want that thing crooked, you know, going down the road. I just want to be able to replace it and have it work good. So got that part done. All right, look how much cleaner this is now. Just shove the excess wire down in this hole, and you can see, you know, we had that big 12-volt plug sticking out here and all jumbled up all over the place. So I thought about doing this last year and I never got around to it, but now look, charger plug comes out of the wall, it's running the wall, it's already hooked to the 12-volt, so it releases this one for use and just looks way cleaner. All right, so I just went through and detrashed the trailer wiring that my dog tore up a year and a half ago. Got under there and just ripped. GoPro 9 batteries suck. They burn batteries so quick. So I'm just rotating 3 out of this cradle all day. One in, one out, one in, one out. Anyway, so I just detrashed it for now. It's not permanent. Again, it's just temporary so we can camp here in a week or two. I found the original lights that came with the trailer in a box when I was looking for a little bit extra wire right here. So these will get used eventually when I figure out what I'm going to do with the bumper back here and the fenders. Alright, it's October 18th and the boy got the gear out to try everything on to make sure it fits. We're not going today, but soon we're going to try to get a trip in. What I've been doing lately here on this trailer is today I worked on removing all of the excess putty tape around the edges that collect dust and just look disgusting. So each window took me about an hour. I would cut off the excess and then clean what was the residue on the actual finish of the trailer, and I did both sides. Here's side 1 and here's side 2. Came out really good. I also busted out this Duraback that's been sitting for now 4 years outside in the weather, and it's still good. It was really hard to stir up, but I got it stirred up. And what I used it for was on the front here, there was a lot of areas where when this piece of wood dried, it pulled the Duraback apart and created little seams where there was like no Duraback. So I just filled all that in. There's like 3 or 4 coats on those areas, and it just blended right in. You can't even tell. It looks so much better. So I got that all fixed. That's looking a lot nicer. I also ordered a 42-inch tongue box. I have toyed with what I'm going to do with this tongue since the birth of this thing, which you know, and I finally got part of it done. I got the extension, I got the permanent tongue done here, and it just looks great, and it's strong as ever. No more flex, no more weirdness. Got a tongue jack. It's so much easier for me to move around and hook it up to tow it without having to lift this thing, because now the front end's really heavy, especially with that full-size spare tire on it. So I'm going to do a tongue box. Here's a picture of it. It's on its way. And behind that, I'm going to do a little tray in that little weird triangle area, because this Easy Up fits in there perfectly. And inside the tongue box, I'm going to put the generator, toolbox, and then all this stuff right here. We lose all of this shelf space in here because I put these 2 totes that have like the kitchen and the bathroom supplies, and then in this cabinet that I fixed, those magnet things, all of the dishes go there. Well, we're going to put them all in one tote and then store them in the tongue box. That way it gives us way more room in there for stuff. So that'll really be nice. But this is the stuff I got done the last few days after work, because I'm trying to get it ready so we could go ride soon, like in the next couple weeks, so we don't now all the way end up into December and the season's half over, like we've had that happen the last few times. So a couple people have asked me about the tire hauling business stuff. And where we're at now is the recycling plant that I go to. The last time I dumped there with this trailer right here, which is the one that you saw me build for scrap tire use, they said, look, as of such and such date, you have to have a dump trailer. You cannot park, climb out there, and be out there for 30 minutes throwing tires. They figure it's a liability issue. And it makes a lot of sense to me, and I actually had planned on going to a dump trailers someday, but they're anywhere from like 14 to 20 grand for what I would need, like a 16-footer with a dump bed on it. And so this was a little surprise to me a little soon. So I went ahead and talked to my welding buddy who did this tongue for me right here, which you saw in the last video, and he put together a price for me which was way under what I would pay down the hill, and he built it specifically how I wanted it, with the deck over the axles and the type of swinging doors and the color and everything. And he's been working on that for about a month, and I'm going to go pick it up tomorrow. So these are all the pictures of when he first got the materials and he started fabbing it together in his shop. And he sent me these progress pictures the whole time, you know, during the months that, well, during the weeks he was working on it. And as you know, his shop is just down the street from me. Coincidentally, his shop actually his shop is right behind the shop that we're looking to purchase, that we're in escrow on, that we talked about last video. Here's a couple pictures of the shop that I would be purchasing. And if you look at this brown building right here, that's his shop that you get into from the other side of the street. So it would be like I have 3 of the 4 lots and he has the 1. And then 2 of mine are parking, 1 of mine's a building, and 1 of his is a building. So we'd be neighbors right there. And I really hope I get this shop. It'll solve so many problems for us. So that's all for today. And hopefully the next video, you'll see me tackling these fenders and doing the tongue box and some other stuff to get ready to go ride. I want to go soon because I have a pretty big surprise for my buddy. So that's all I have to say about that. Okay, you ready to try it?
Sure.
Okay. When you get to the top, you put your shoulders over the roof line and then all your weight's over and then you're fine. So I'm gonna back you up.
Okay.
All right. You gonna go for it? All right, give it all you got. The water's softer than concrete. All right. Nice. All right. All right, I'm coming down too. Ow, stepped on a rock. My feet are on fire, but this view is ridiculous. I don't know if my insurance covers this.
Probably not.
It's a really bad idea, but you know.
Did you turn around?
I didn't because I was scared.
Oh. I'm gonna turn around.
Okay.
Gosh, why not? Is life insurance covered, Dad?
No.
Oh, okay. See you in the hospital.
Okay.
It's scary.
I know. That was awesome. All right, we're just bored, so, you know, a couple bad dads up here inventing dangerous things. Are we bad dads?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Dad, you're on the second step.
Oh, crap.
Oh my gosh. This is sketchy.
You got it, buddy.
Don't make a noise. Oh my god.
That was fun. All right, that was fun, huh? We're all still alive, so we'll call it quits. All right, I just want to show you guys something that's keeping me nice and cool. This is that side yard that I built the trailer ramp gate for. Remember, it was all dirt and there was only a little bit of room here, and we had it graded way over, had the cement done, had the fence put up. And this is what I intended it for, coming out here and working. You know, one of the things you hear me complain about a lot is the wind. You see my flag out there? It's just blowing like 90 miles an hour. But I can work on this side of the house in the shade in the afternoon. And I have cement, clean cement to work on. I have a gate here. I can still see my awesome view. You know, which is just peace of mind. And then, of course, these are my son's dogs who are leaving soon because they bought a house and they're moving back into a house. And I'll have this whole area as my workspace out here. And then eventually I'd like to do a shade, some kind of cover over this thing so that I can still get something big in here like a motorhome, but I'll have shade in here as well. And I left that little opening in the middle with no cement, so as I'm washing stuff, the water's not going down this hill right here, causing big ravines. So I dug a little brow ditch all along, so it does catch the runoff, but that thing in the middle catches most of it. And eventually I'll put some gravel in there and I can like wash stuff there, like bikes and things, and the pool filter, which you heard me talk about before. But this is what I intended this side yard to be, and it's worked out great. I was in here, I cleaned 3 cars in here today, and I'm loading up some tires I sold to some people, and I pressure washed them so they look nice for them, because I live on a 2-mile dirt road and they look like garbage. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this cool side yard and how it came out. It came out great. I mean, look at that moon out there coming up. Full moon tonight. That thing's beautiful.